It is a crucial day in the future of Chelsea Football Club, and bids to buy the team, which of course are the Champions League holders at the moment, need to be in by 9 p.m. this evening. Let's get much more on this with the co-chair of Chelsea Pride, that's Tracy Brown, who, delighted to say, joins us now. Tracy, you're also a representative on the club's board as well.
Yep.
We really appreciate you coming into Sky Sports News on what I guess is quite a nervy day, is it, today for Chelsea fans?
If those bids are still coming in, I think it is, yes. Well, thank you for having me first thing this morning. Yes, it's a nervy time for us fans. Everything's still up in the air. We can't have fans into the ground at the moment. I think we all just want this process to speed up as quick as it can, because they're sort of hanging in the balance and us not knowing. And the rumour mill that just keeps running, the negativity in the press. So,
yes.
Yeah, I'd rather this got closed and the person who was going to buy it come forward ASAP.
Yeah, and I mean, Pete mentioned there you're a representative on the board. What kind of insight can you give us in terms of what is the club's position on being able to continue playing? Because obviously they've had this licence from the government, and it's kind of what needs to be done and what are the club doing in order for these football-related activities to still carry on?
I wish I knew exactly what they were doing behind the scenes, to be fair. Going on, I think Peter Cech sort of said that, you know, we're taking it day by day on a daily basis. We just need to make sure that the teams are able to play. Obviously, there will be fans for our home game against Brentford because those tickets had already been sold. And then it's just taking it day by day. But obviously losing staff because we've had to shut shops and not being able to sell any merchandise. I actually feel for the staff right now because they've been deeply impacted.
Yeah, right across. You have to feel for the staff, like you say, and the supporters. And I think that if anyone who loves football or supports a football team has to be mindful of the fact this could be them in this situation. I mean, it's like for the fans, it must be really tough. What are other fans saying at the moment? How are they coping with this uncertainty? I mean, the future is such an unknown at the moment, isn't it?
Yes, I mean, the people I've spoken to, it's across the board. So obviously, from the women's point of view, we're very worried about whoever comes in is obviously going to keep working with our women's team, which is obviously a world-renowned team. We win trophies just like our men back to back. We want to make sure, obviously, whoever comes in, and the women's fans are worried that they're not going to have that same eye for detail when it comes to maybe our youth and our women. So obviously, whoever comes in needs to basically work with those as well. And the fans from the whole entire club, we are more than just the men's team. I've been going to Stamford Bridge since a kid, so a very, very long time. And I support both teams. I follow both the men and the women home and away. So everyone's nervous, and we need some clarity.
Yeah. Have any of the people that we've been reporting as being potential buyers actually been in touch with you or any of the fans groups, or do you kind of just find out as we do?
A lot of the time we find out like you do. I think we've had several sort of names thrown in the hat when it comes to bidders, but none of us really know who's going to have that final bid. I think we're all guessing as much as the press are. So I think when you've got someone stood outside our ground and they're asking questions, no one really knows. And I'm sure the people sitting on the board right now, again, are in that same position. You don't know who that final bidder's going to be.
Whoever takes over the club, they need to have, I know certain groups have already said they want fans representation on the board, but should that be an absolute necessity for whoever takes over?
100%. We have that now. We have a fans forum, and we obviously have 3 representatives on the board. We still need to have that, and we need to have a very diverse fan base on that board that again covers every aspect of our club.
Yeah, and I mean, what is it? This is maybe a bit of a broad question, but what is it that the Chelsea fans would want to see from a new owner? What is the most important thing? You have kind of already touched on some of the things, but if you could tie it down to the kind of key things that you want to see from a new owner coming in, what would it be?
I think they have to speak to the fans. I think they have to actually have the fans' input. I think too many mistakes have been made in the past, just as our club. If we think of the issues with the Super League and again, fans not being spoken to, it's paramount. Sort of the golden share, if we look at the fan-led review, equality, covering the women's game, directors' tests, all of these things need to be in place. So we know whoever comes in, basically, they own our club, but it's the fans that keep the club going. 117 years of the fans being there. The fans are the ones who are going to continue to be there no matter who the owner is. and that's really important. It really is about the fans.
Is there an understanding, I guess, that whoever does buy the club, it's going to be different? I mean, Roman Abramovich was a bit of a one-off, I suppose. We had Kieran Maguire, the finance expert, on earlier saying that on average Chelsea were losing about £900,000 a week or thereabouts over the tenure. Not many owners are going to come in and be prepared to lose that amount of money, you would imagine. So it's going to be a different looking Chelsea going forward. Are the fans ready for that?
I think, again, it's those unknowns, but I think, yes, Roman Abramovich was one of a kind. And what he did for the whole club, I mean, he took the women's team to winning consistent trophies. We need someone to come in with that same passion for the club. We understand the sanctions, and my heart goes out to everyone in Ukraine right now. And we do understand why the sanctions needed to come in. But this is the time for everyone to work together to get the right result going forward. So, yes, it's going to be different. And all eyes are going to be on us, I'm sure. Anytime we don't win a game, anytime we get to a final, there's going to be eyes on us and there's going to be speculation. All we can do, our team is doing right now, ever since the news broke, we've just kept winning. Both our men and our women have been on a winning run. And that's what we need to do, just focus on the football for now.
It sounds like you want a Chelsea fan in the boardroom there.
Yes.
As an owner. Would that be the ideal?
Yes, I don't see why they can't have like a shadow boardroom, which again is mentioned in the fan-led review. There's no reason why we can't have that real in-depth conversation.
And some of the interested guys in taking over this club are Chelsea fans as well. So would that be? It's just reading between the lines of what you're saying. You want someone who understands the fabric of the club, who's going to have that kind of passion.
Yes.
If
we go back pre-Roman Abramovich, we have Matthew Harding. That is the embodiment of what you would want going forward now. Someone who's not in director's box, but actually in the crowd, who absolutely loves the club through and through. That's the sort of person I would love to see back at Chelsea.
Yeah, and you've mentioned that word unknown quite a lot. Do you want this? I mean, I guess you want it to be a quick process, but how much do you know about the process in terms of 9 p.m. deadline? It's not quite as easy that tomorrow Chelsea will have a new owner.
No. And we don't know how long that process is going to take and how much of a part the government are going to want to take in that, because obviously the sanctions are on the club. It's the government are going to have their say, I'm sure, in who's going to be that new owner, that new director. And then it's what staff are still left at our club and the boardroom and how it's rebuilt. I'd like to see some of the people still stay there. So, again, back to that unknown word, unfortunately. I hate that word right now.
How impressed have you been, actually, with both the men's team and the women's team, that they haven't allowed all this to unsettle them, that they have kept the results coming? Because they would have been forgiven, wouldn't they? The players, I think, with all this uncertainty, to take their eye off the ball, literally, and sort of see performances and results dip. But it's been anything but at the moment. I
think it's that togetherness. I think that's that one club mentality. We have two phenomenal managers. Thomas Tuchel is literally, I mean, he's pretty much put the press to bed when they ask awkward questions. And Emma Hayes is just a legend in her own right. I travelled up to Everton for the game. We come out that game like there was no problems off the pitch. We literally ran that game from the beginning to end, and I think it really is just focus on game to game to game. And it must be very difficult as a player not to look at social media and see the speculation going on. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's just focus.
Yeah, and Thomas Tuchel actually did kind of allude to the fact that this has almost brought them together. Yeah. It's been a reason for them to come together. And I mean, like you say, Emma Hayes, she's always so impressive the way that she carries herself and the team. And I guess they'll want some guarantees that their jobs are safe, and the players will want some guarantees. And that is, I keep coming back to the fact that this has to be done pretty quickly. So you would hope that the government would perhaps come in and make sure that this process can be as smooth as possible. Yeah. I
mean, they wanted a quick sell in a sense. They were the ones who put the sanctions in. For us fans to be able to get back into stadiums, for us to be able to move forward, the government needs to be able to okay someone who's going to come in and buy with whatever checks that needs to be done. It's not going to be a 5-minute process, I'm sure. We're talking a lot of money as well to buy this club. So at the end of the day, for me, the focus is whoever comes in needs to look at the club as a whole. They need to obviously prioritise not just the men's team, but the women and our youth team. Our fans need to be paramount in that conversation as well.
Tracy, just before I let you go, can I put you on the spot? Which bidder do you want?
I would say English fan, so Candy, isn't it?
Okay.
Yeah, it'd have to be. I mean, for me, a lot of fans there's lots of, again, speculation, and obviously people are like the Saudi money. There's obviously that way you can still buy those big players. I'd rather stability, and I don't want to go from one problem to another and then look at the issues that maybe we could possibly have. Definitely with equality, the women's game, and diversity if we went down the Saudi route. So,
and that is key. It's not just about the money.
It isn't just about the money. It's about, I mean, football is a business at the end of the day. I do understand that, but it's about the fans. So it needs to be one club together.
Tracy, it's been an absolute pleasure to speak to you. I know you'll be keeping a close eye on Sky Sports News for the rest of the day to see what's going on. But good luck from here on to the end of the season. And I hope you get the resolution that you and the supporters are hoping for.
Fingers crossed, and hopefully for a quick sale.
Yeah. Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you.